No one can accuse me of not having loved her. I mean, they could, but they'd be wrong. I find that most people are wrong about most things most of the time. And I'm sure someone more erudite than I am probably said that long before I was born. Just seems like one of those universal truths that should have been discovered early on in human history. But I digress. No, I take that back. I don't digress. That's just the way I think. Though, consequently, it's also the way I speak. And it's the way I always spoke with her. I was always honest with her. I never censored myself. So when she got sick, I couldn't hide my concern. You see, I trained her to be an open book, just like I am. And together, we were a saga, a fairy tale. We had everything love could offer. Except for a cure. But we never lived an empty day. And the last thing that she wanted was an empty death. She begged me to not just let her pass away. She wanted to be killed. She wanted me to kill her. Her one true love. So she could die with some dignity. By the hands of her lover. So she could feel more alive than ever just before she left this place. She told me that she would pick the day, and it would be the day when she decided that there weren't going to be any more good days. You see, sometimes she would have a few really bad days, but then things would turn around and be back to normal for a while, and life would be okay, and we'd spend our days as we normally had before she got sick. But now, time was running out, and it wouldn't be like this forever. Someday, she wouldn't be able to bounce back. And I dreaded that day more than anything I'd ever dreaded throughout the course of my life. I wanted to come with her. I wished I could. I wanted us to die together in each other's arms. But she wouldn't let me. She wanted me to stay here, alive, in this world without her, so I could tell her story. But was I strong enough to do that? To stay here without her? She always loved the way I told stories. And on her bad days, she would beg me to tell her more stories. It would calm her, put her at ease. And for a little while, we could forget about the inevitable. But then, one day, she woke me up early and told me that this was going to be her last good day. And I knew what that meant. She knew that her time had come, much like when a woman intuits that she has become pregnant. It was just something she felt. And she wanted me to chase her through the woods while she ran in fear. She insisted that I frighten her. But before all that, one last day in her company, in this realm, with my buttercup. I made her her favorite breakfast. Pancakes with lemon and buttery Canadian maple syrup straight from the tree. It was my best batch to date. Perfectly formed golden brown circles dripping with saturated sweetness. And after breakfast, we took the dog on a long walk without a leash, all up the coast, and let her run around and play with us. Nothing could sully our joy that day. No one could erase the smiles that were plastered on our faces. The ocean was warm, the vistas were singular. It was our best day, our happiest day, and I never wanted it to end. And neither did she. Neither did our beloved puppy. And for a long while, it felt as though time had stopped and we had made it into heaven. Why couldn't we just spend eternity in this moment? Alas, night would soon be upon us, and so too would her final hour. She had written it all down for me, everything she wanted me to do for her, everything she wanted me to do to her, I should say. So we returned home for dinner, and I made her another batch of pancakes, and I let her have the last bit of syrup. We were less chatty than we normally were. The high bliss of the day was making way for the impending night. So we held each other's hands and ate mostly in silence. And after dinner, she spent some time on the couch with the dog while I sat across the room admiring the two of them together. Soon after that, we headed out. She was in tears, and I was on the verge. I asked her if she still wanted to follow through with this, and I did my best to talk her out of it. However, her mind was made up, and I understood. I mean, I was really just being selfish. I didn't want to live without her. But she made me promise to make chasing her down and killing her the most exciting moment in my life, and that she would do the same, and together we would annihilate the sorrow. So I promised her victory, because I loved her more than anything, more than I ever thought I was capable of loving. And this was her dying wish. So we parked the car outside a gate on the north side of the mountain and started walking up the dark incline by foot. It was a creepy place at night. I saw that she was starting to feel less sad and more invigorated. She was looking forward to the chase, the thrill of being killed by her true love. When we got to a little opening in the trees, she stopped me and said, "Here. This is the place." I was doing my best not to cry. I'd made a promise, not just to be strong, but to be ecstatic. Although it wasn't easy. But she gave me the strength with that look in her eyes. That look that no other woman on earth could give me. And we embraced for a moment and laid our final kisses upon each other's lips as a happy young couple. Then she took off and began running and screaming into the dark. And I mustered up all the strength I could to follow through with her wish. Every detail. She told me to chase her down, beat her to the ground with a stick, tie her up, make love to her while she kicked and screamed. Then, after she had climaxed, tell her how beautiful she is and how much I love her. After which I would immediately impale her, dig out her heart, and eat it. Right there. And then I was to bury her body at the base of the tree with the thickest bark in the area. And she said that I was to bring home her kidneys and her liver as a treat for our dog. You see, she wanted to be physically part of us after death. She wanted her heart to live on inside of me. I was so nervous. I wanted everything to be perfect for her. So with a lump in my throat, I took my first step into the dark and pursued her, my true love, and I fulfilled her dying wish.